All right, you freaking space cadets, strap the fuck in. Because today, we're going deep into Interstellar.
That's right.
That mindfuck of a space epic from Christopher Nolan.
Yep.
That either blew your mind
Oh, yeah.
or left you scratching your head.
Totally.
We've got a stack of articles, production notes, and some real science shit.
Oh, yeah, we dug deep
That'll melt your brain.
for this one.
Get ready to explore wormholes, black holes,
All that.
and find out if McConaughey can act when he's not selling Lincolns.
Let's cut the crap. Interstellar is a goddamn trip, and we're going to break down the science, the story, and why this movie is way more than just spaceships and explosions.
Damn right, we're going to unpack all the crazy shit in this flick so you can finally understand what the hell is going on and sound smart at parties.
First things first, the movie throws us into a dying Earth blight. Dust storms the whole 9 yards, humanity screwed.
Really went all out.
The filmmakers even planted 500 acres of corn just to destroy it for a dust storm scene.
Talk about commitment. Yeah, it's like the Dust Bowl on steroids sets the stage for humanity's last-ditch effort to find a new home.
Exactly.
Enter NASA working in secret to send astronauts through a wormhole near Saturn.
Convenient.
Right, but hey, it's a ticket to a new galaxy.
Mace.
Maybe even a planet where we can actually breathe without choking on dust.
Now, this mission is called the Lazarus missions.
Lazarus.
Pretty fitting considering everyone's about to kick the bucket.
Right.
It's run by a crew on a spacecraft called the Endurance.
The Durand.
Just picture a giant rotating space station and you're getting close.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
We got Matthew McConaughey as Cooper, a former pilot-turned-farmer who's basically humanity's last hope. Anne Hathaway plays Brand, a brilliant scientist, and there are a couple other scientists tagging along.
Okay.
Oh, and let's not forget the snarky robots, Tars and Kays.
Dude, those robots were the best part. They look like walking refrigerators.
I know, right?
But their dry humor is on point. Definitely more personality than some of the human characters.
That's debatable.
Come on.
Anyway, the crew goes through this wormhole, and boom, they're in another galaxy.
Just like that.
With a few potential planets to check out, all these planets are orbiting this monstrous black hole called Gargantua, which looks absolutely insane on screen.
The visual effects in this movie are mind-blowing, no bullshit.
Agreed.
And they actually got Kip Thorne, a real physicist, to help design that black hole based on actual science.
Yeah, he's legit.
The dude even published scientific papers based on the simulations they made for the movie. That's some next-level shit.
Thorne's involvement is what makes this film stand out from your typical space opera. They tried to ground the science as much as possible, even if it gets a bit wonky at times. Like, remember when they land on that water planet and an hour for them is like 23 years back on Earth?
Yeah, what was that about?
That's time dilation, baby. They weren't just pulling that out of their asses.
Yeah, poor Romilly stuck on that ship for 23 years while those idiots were splashing around in a giant wave pool. Talk about a buzzkill.
I know, right?
Speaking of buzzkills, let's talk about Cooper's daughter, Murph.
Oh, yes. Murph, played by Jessica Chastain as an adult. She's crucial to the story back on Earth. She's working with Professor Brandamelia's father, trying to crack this gravity equation that's supposed to save humanity by getting them off this dying rock.
So good old dad ditches his daughter to gallivant through space, and she's left behind trying to fix his mess, talk about daddy issues, and then there's that whole love is a physical force thing. Come on, Nolan, are you trying to pull a Disney on us?
It's definitely a stretch even for a sci-fi flick, but hey, it's Nolan. He loves to fuck with our minds.
Always.
And he definitely does that with the ending when Cooper falls into that black hole and ends up in the Tesseract.
What the hell was that?
Exactly.
Right.
He's in this 5-dimensional space, basically communicating with his past self through his daughter's bookshelf.
Bookshelf.
A bookshelf.
Of all the things.
The Tesseract is where the film goes full-blown metaphysical. It's a visual representation of higher dimensions, and it allows Cooper to interact with Murph across time.
Right. And he's sending her messages in Morse code, no less.
Yeah.
The whole thing was bonkers.
Bonkers, but also kind of brilliant.
I guess.
Don't forget about the wristwatch. Cooper uses gravity to manipulate the second hand on Murph's watch, transmitting the data she needs to solve the equation and save humanity.
So Murph saves humanity thanks to her space ghost dad whispering through a bookshelf and a wristwatch. Okay, I'm following. But what happens to Cooper after the Tesseract collapses?
He gets spit out of the wormhole near Saturn and picked up by a space station that looks suspiciously like one of those O'Neill cylinders we were talking about
Oh,
earlier.
yeah, those giant space colonies that look like floating cities.
Yeah.
So humanity did manage to escape Earth, even if it was just a bunch of scientists and astronauts.
Exactly. And Cooper, well, he gets to see his daughter one last time before she dies. A happy ending, sort of.
Heartwarming, if you're into that kind of thing. But what about Brand? We last saw her on that other planet taking off her helmet. Did she survive? Did she find a new home for humanity?
The film leaves that open to interpretation.
Oh, come on.
We know she's on a planet with a breathable atmosphere, but that's about it.
So another one-way ticket for humanity. Nolan really loves the sacrifice angle, doesn't he? All right, let's switch gears for a minute and talk about how the critics reacted to this mindfuck.
Well, the critics were all over the place with this one. Some praised its ambition and stunning visuals. Others thought the dialogue was clunky and the emotional beats were a bit heavy-handed.
Yeah, I get that the whole love transcends time and space thing was a bit cheesy even for a space epic, but I have to admit the movie stuck with me. It's one of those films that you either love or hate.
Exactly. Nolan's films tend to provoke strong reactions. They spark debate.
Okay, now for the fun part. Let's dish some juicy behind-the-scenes dirt.
Well, for starters, Nolan is notoriously secretive. He went to great lengths to keep the script under wraps, even giving the actors fake scenes to throw them off the scent.
The dude's a control freak, but hey, I respect his commitment to his vision. I also heard he used miniatures for a lot of the spacecraft, which is pretty old school these days.
True, he's a big believer in practical effects, which definitely adds to the realism of the film.
Yeah, you can tell they weren't just relying on CGI for everything. Remember that scene where they're docking with the Endurance and everything goes to shit that was a miniature exploding, not some computer-generated bullshit.
And Hathaway almost got hypothermia filming a water scene in Iceland because her dry suit wasn't sealed properly.
Talk about suffering for your art. Okay, so we've covered the plot, the science, the critical reception, and some behind-the-scenes shenanigans. What's the verdict is Interstellar, a masterpiece, or a glorious mess?
I think it's a bit of both. It's a visually stunning, ambitious film that tries to do a lot. It's not perfect, but it's definitely thought-provoking. It's a film that stays with you.
Damn right, after all this talk about black holes and wormholes, I need a drink. We'll be right back after a quick break to dive deeper into this mind-bending space odyssey.
All right, so before we got sidetracked by Anne Hathaway almost freezing her ass off in Iceland, we were talking about how Interstellar tries to be more than just your average space popcorn flick.
Yeah, Nolan's reaching for something deeper here, trying to make us ponder the big questions about humanity and our place in the universe.
Yeah.
But does he pull it off?
That's the million-dollar question. He's weaving together science fiction and philosophical ideas.
Yeah.
Which is ambitious as hell.
Ambitious.
But sometimes it feels a little forced, like he's trying to shove a square peg into a round hole.
Totally agree. Like that whole love thing.
Oh, yeah.
I get that it's supposed to be this powerful force that connects us all. But it felt like he was trying too hard to make it this literal physical thing that can bend the laws of physics.
Yeah, the love as a fifth dimension concept is a bit of a head-scratcher, but I think it's more nuanced than that. Remember that scene where Cooper talks about love being the one thing we can't quantify, the one force that might transcend time and space? It's cheesy, sure, but there's a kernel of truth there.
Okay, I'll give you that. Love can make you do some pretty crazy shit. Even if it can't literally send you through a black hole to save your daughter.
Right.
But the film does make you think about the lengths we'd go to for the people we care about, for the future of humanity, even if it means sacrificing everything.
Exactly. It's about the choices we make, the sacrifices we're willing to make for the greater good. And speaking of sacrifices, can we talk about Man, the astronaut they find on that ice planet? Talk about a backstabbing asshole?
Matt Damon playing a character named Man. The irony is not lost on me. The dude fakes data to lure the Endurance to his planet, then tries to kill Cooper and steal the ship. What a dick move.
It's a classic trope, the rogue scientist who loses it under pressure, but Damon plays it so well you can't help but feel a little creeped out by him.
For sure, he nails that whole desperate, unhinged vibe. But the whole subplot felt a bit rushed, like they just needed a villain to spice things up.
Fair point, but it does raise some interesting questions about the ethics of space exploration. What happens when we send people out into the void, cut off from everything they know and love? Do they lose their humanity?
Deep thoughts. Man, maybe. Man just needed a hug or a therapist.
Or maybe he just needed a better plan. Remember the whole plan A versus plan B situation?
Yeah.
Plan A was to solve the gravity equation and get everyone off Earth, but it turns out that was all bullshit. Plan B was to just start a new colony with a bunch of fertilized embryos.
Yeah, that was pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
So if Plan A was a lie all along, was Cooper basically tricked into abandoning his family for nothing?
It's never explicitly stated, but it's heavily implied that Professor Brand knew Plan A was a long shot. He was just desperate to give humanity a fighting chance, even if it meant screwing over a few people along the way.
Sounds like a classic case of the ends justifying the means. But the film definitely makes you think about the ethical implications of these grand schemes to save humanity.
Absolutely. And let's not forget the environmental message, the blight, the dust storms. It's all a stark reminder of what could happen if we keep trashing our planet.
Yeah, no shit, we might not have wormholes and black holes to escape to in real life. We're stuck with this rock, for better or worse.
That's a sobering thought.
Okay, enough doom and gloom. Let's lighten the mood with some more fun facts about the making of this movie. I heard that Nolan is obsessed with practical effects, like he hates CGI with a passion.
It's true. He's all about doing things for real whenever possible. For example, did you know that Nolan insisted on using real corn for that cornfield scene? They actually had to build special combines to harvest it after they were done filming the dust storm.
Wait, seriously, they didn't just use CGI corn stalks?
Nope, that was the real deal. And I heard that Nolan's brother Jonathan, who co-wrote the script, spent months studying relativity at Caltech to make sure the science was as accurate as possible.
Damn, the Nolans are like the brainiacs of Hollywood. They're not just blowing shit up. They're making you think about the nature of reality.
That's one way to put it.
Okay, so we've talked about the plot, the science, the philosophical mumbo-jumbo, the behind-the-scenes stuff. But what about the movie itself? Did you actually enjoy watching it?
I did. It's a visually stunning film with a sweeping score, a gripping plot, and some truly mind-bending concepts. It's not perfect, but it's ambitious, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, I got to give Nolan props for trying something different. Most sci-fi movies these days are just superhero flicks in disguise.
Right. We need more films that challenge us, that make us think about the big questions.
Stand straight. Okay, on that note, let's dive back into this deep dive. We've still got a lot of ground to cover. All right, space nerds, we're back for the final descent into the madness that is interstellar time to wrap this shit up and see if we can make any sense of it all.
Let's try to bring this chaotic journey back to Earth, shall we? We've traversed wormholes, pondered the mysteries of black holes, and grappled with the notion of love as a cosmic force.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground from the scientific mumbo-jumbo to the philosophical head-scratchers. But let's be real. Is Interstellar a masterpiece or just a gloriously ambitious mess?
It's a tough call. The film is visually stunning. There's no doubt about that. The score is epic, the plot is gripping, and the sheer scale of the ideas is mind-boggling. But it's also flawed, messy, and sometimes frustratingly sentimental.
I hear you. It's like Nolan was trying to cram every big idea he's ever had into one film. But hey, I'd rather have a movie that swings for the fences and misses sometimes than one that plays it safe and bores the hell out of me.
I agree, and despite its flaws, Interstellar does something that few films manage to do. It stays with you long after the credits roll. It makes you think, it makes you question, and it makes you wonder about the vastness of the universe and our place within it.
Okay, you're starting to sound like one of those pretentious film critics. But I get what you're saying. It's a film that gets under your skin even if you don't fully understand it, and maybe that's the point.
Perhaps Nolan is suggesting that the universe, like the film itself, is full of mysteries that we may never fully comprehend. We can try to make sense of it, we can search for answers, but ultimately some things will always remain beyond our grasp.
That's a pretty deep thought for a guy who just spent 2 hours talking about spaceships and black holes.
Yeah.
But I think you're onto something. Interstellar is a film that embraces the unknown, that celebrates the awe and wonder of exploration, even if it means confronting our own limitations.
And it reminds us that even in the face of overwhelming odds, even when all hope seems lost, there's still a spark of human resilience that drives us forward. We search for connection, we strive for understanding, and we cling to the belief that somewhere out there, among the stars, there's something more.
Damn, you're getting all poetic on me now, but I'll admit Interstellar does have a way of making you feel small and insignificant, yet strangely hopeful at the same time.
That's the paradox of exploring the cosmos. It both humbles and inspires us. It reminds us that we're part of something much larger than ourselves. Yet it also challenges us to push the boundaries of our knowledge and imagination.
Well said, so. To all you intrepid explorers out there, if you haven't already, go check out Interstellar. Prepare to have your mind bent, your emotions stirred, and your sense of wonder reignited.
And if you're looking for a film that will provide easy answers or neat resolutions, you might want to look elsewhere. Interstellar is a journey into the unknown, a film that asks more questions than it answers, and that's precisely what makes it so compelling.
Damn right now, if you'll Excuse me, I'm going to go pour myself a stiff drink and try to process all this cosmic craziness. Until next time, keep looking up at the stars, and don't forget to check your bookshelf for messages from the future. You never know what you might find.